All right, you guys, we have just finished the first page where we talked about dealing with K. So we realized that K was a translation up and down. We're now going to deal with a different parameter of H, and H and K will be done. All right. So if you look at this, we look at these parameters, H is inside of the function. Now think about it, X is in there. So the inputs of X, all right, go in here. And when you think about what X does, it moves you left and right. Y, however, controls your altitude, whether you go up or down. All right, just think about a coordinate plane. As X goes to infinity, it goes to the right. As X goes to negative infinity, it goes to the left. So since H happens inside the function where X is, you can probably make a guess at what's going to happen as we change this parameter of H. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, I'm gonna go in here and it says let H equal 2. Notice that there's a subtraction sign here, that's X minus H. So when I plug this in, I've got X minus 2 even though I'm plugging in a positive 2. So when I apply that to the basic function of x squared, I got g of x, the second value of x, the next function is x minus 2 squared. All right, so let's do that. I'm going to stand up so you can see this again. I'm going to go back and go to y equals, and I'm going to clear this guy, and here we go. Now I'm going to start with parentheses, x minus 2, and that quantity I'm going to square, and square is right here. This button down here. When I graph this, you're going to notice that I said minus 2, right? So that positive 2, even though it comes out as minus 2, moved this 2 to the right. Feels a little counterintuitive, all right? Especially after doing the last one, after working with H, plus 2 moved us up. When I put it on positive 2, I got this x minus 2 squared, y equals, it moved us right. All right. So what transformation do you think would occur if h is a negative? Well, in this case, let's let h equal negative 2. So we got y equals, I'm plugging it in, x minus, and our h is negative 2, quantity squared. And if you look about it, it turns into y equals x plus 2. Well, go ahead and make your guess, but I'm gonna plug it in. So I'm gonna come down here, and I'm gonna say the parameter in parentheses x. We'll write it in as a negative 2. I should use the negative. This guy down here is a negative. Negative 2 quantity squared. Let's get it so you can see it. And let's graph that and see what happens. And sure enough, that guy moves to the left. All right. So 2 left. All right. So just to review, right? When I said x plus 2 squared, it went left. When I said x minus 2 squared, right there, it went right. Takes a little getting used to. All right. So when the final form looks like that, again, a little counterintuitive. You'd think it moved right, but it moves left, and this guy moves right. And remember, in here I'm plugging in a negative 2, and right here I'm plugging in a positive 2. So if we look at the original formula, when I put a minus in front of something, it probably implies something a little tricky, that maybe we're going to do the opposite of what we would think. All right, I'm going to come down here, and the vertical, all right, vertical happened outside the function. That means the vertical shift, here's the function, it was outside the function, all right. It changes the y coordinates. When we had a plus k, it went up. When a minus k, it went down. All right, coming over here. This horizontal happened inside the function. It was at h. Inside of the function. All right, it happens to our input. It changes the x coordinates because the x's are our inputs. All right, x plus h. All right, something like this. when we get x plus h. I'm going to say this. I'm gonna go ahead and say that when I have an x plus h, it goes left. When it looks that if that's the final form, and this is right if that's the final form. All right. Think opposite of what you would normally do. All right. Now I'm gonna go 2 down here, and you guys do the rest. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a really quick coordinate plane. Let's assume we're dealing with a parabola. Let's assume we start with a parabola like this. All right. So I'm going to say what would happen. All right. This guy would go 2 to the left, 1, 2, and this guy would go 1 down. I would start there with my vertex, and I would look like this. All right. So we could just say 2 left, 1 down. Says tell how the coordinates change. I'm going to come over and do 2. Notice this is outside the function. This is 5 down. You don't have to draw it if you tell what happens. All right. So I'm going to come up here. I'm going to try to highlight. My highlighter I just noticed was open the whole time, but must be a really nice highlighter. And you guys do 3 and 4. 3 and 4 without me. Don't wait till class. You should be ready to discuss. This is video number 2. See you guys.